Good evening, televiewers. Welcome to another edition of Prime Hour on My Media Prime. We are glad to have you glued to your respective TV screens to follow what we have in package for you this evening. Today in the program, we have one topic, which is looking at the relationship between teachers and owners of private institutions in Cameroon and asking the question whether it is a gold mine that needs attention or scrutiny from the government and other aspects or other domains of our society. We are going to be discussing this with our panelists who are in the house. Most of them are education stakeholders who have been teaching for some time now, as well as civil society activists and politicians. We are welcoming for the very first time in our studios out here at Fen Goudron Bangé, Mr. Willie Ngapo Tanyo. He is a teacher. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Leonard. Good evening to all your panelists. And I'm so happy to be here with you guys today to talk about the relationship between school owners, commonly called proprietors, and teachers. And before we start, I would like to address my sincere condolences to the Ivorians who lost this morning one of their musicians, a star musician called DJ Arafat. I think by the end of this program, our televiewers will be satisfied from what shall come out from us tonight.
Cameroon is equally bereaved. We lost our ambassador to Ethiopia and Saudi Arabia.
Exactly. We address condolences to all Cameroonians for that event, for that sad event.
Okay, also in the program with us is Tamfu Jones. He is the Secretary General of a political outfit, Modekna Party, that is operating in Cameroon. Good evening. Welcome, Mr. Secretary General.
Good evening, Mr. Kum. It's a pleasure always to come here and share our views to see how we will contribute to nation building. It's a pleasure. Good evening to you, fellow panelists, and all the televiewers. Thank you.
Fundu Ignatius Tebek is equally, he's a member of the civil society, but has keen interest on the issues of schools in Cameroon. Good evening, welcome.
Good evening, Leonard. Good evening, televiewers, and good evening to panelists. I will start by saying Baraka de Salah to our Muslim brothers and sisters, and I wish that God should protect them as they continue with life. And I will also extend my condolence to the families that lost their loved ones, especially the two ambassadors and the Ivorians who are mourning at the moment. Good evening once more.
God should also bless Christians now.
Yes, equally the Christians, we are already blessed.
Okay, we are equally welcoming the lone lady in the house. Her name is Muke Ebang. She works with the Russian International School out here in Douala. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Leonard. Good evening, dear panelists. Good evening, Cameroon.
Good evening, Cameroon. To tell those of you watching us, wherever you are watching us, keep the voting going. Send the name of your best school. At the end of the month, we are going to declare which school won the contest for the best school in Cameroon this month of August. We start with you. I want to start with teachers. Mr. Willie, what is the status of a teacher, a primary, secondary school teacher who works with the private sector in Cameroon? What status is he reserved by the community today?
You see, Mr. Leonard, there are two things. You know, we have teachers in our society teaching in the government sector. Also have teachers in our society teaching in the private sectors. So in this case, we are insisting on the teachers teaching in the private sector. Yes. So there's one contrast in our society. These teachers teaching in the private sector, most often in the community, we see the practice, that is, they perform more better than teachers who have been trained. In the society, it is not seen in that same way. Yes, people usually believe that because a teacher is in the private sector, he is less performant as compared to teacher who has been trained or working in the
Went to ENS.
who went to ENS. But we always say, a Frenchman says that le maçon c'est au pied du mur. Yes. So a teacher who has been teaching the private sector for a long period of time, he accumulates a lot of experience, and for me, I believe the best teachers are even in the private sector. Yes. So they should be given the same respect which are being given to teachers who went to ENS.
What is the picture? What is the image? What is the position that is given to these teachers in the private sector?
These teachers are marginalized in the society. They are not respected as teachers who went to ENS. And that is the picture of teachers in the private sector in our community, which should not be like that, actually.
Okay, we should not be like that. Now, let me also ask another teacher here. What is the status that has been reserved for you people out here? In the community, I mean, teachers who are working with the private sector, you think that they are respected or marginalized like he says?
To an extent, one would be right to say they are marginalized because let me start with the salaries. Some schools, the proprietors don't pay the teachers very well. Right. They look at the salaries, and I think according to Cameroon labor law, the salary for a teacher, the basic salary for a teacher is 90,000 francs. But proprietors don't look at it that way. They pay, they start paying 50,000 francs to teachers. I think it's not enough. You pay a teacher 50,000 francs, that teacher is working around the clock, their heads are ticking, they are not paid when there is vacation, teachers are not paid. It's not a good sign. It's not a good thing to do for teachers because they are working. During vacations like this, they are working, preparing for the academic year, and you put them on 50,000 francs. Sometimes they go ahead to prepare educational accessories for the kids with their own pocket money, and you are paying them just 50,000 francs. It's not enough.
It is not enough. Tebek, you were taught by teachers, and today you live with teachers. How are teachers considered, private school teachers in your community?
I'll first start by saying that, added to other things, it is said that hard work is supposed to pay high, but in Cameroon it is trying to be the reverse, especially on teachers. Teachers are supposed to be role models in the society, but unfortunately in Cameroon it is not. And why? The reason in Cameroon is based on the financial side, and that thing is it is applied in any other job, not only in Cameroon. It is the society look at teachers from the financial side, and this blame goes to their employers. The employers do not treat the teachers very well. Let me take, in those days, behind when we grew in the village, you see the way, when we used to see mostly the government teachers, when a teacher happened to visit your home, you see the type of preparation our parents used to give them. But today, we are not seeing that type of treatment given to the teacher. The blame goes to the employers and sometimes the government. Because the government, to an extent, the government sometimes is trying to respond to this situation, but the government is never there to see whether the instructions are carried out properly. That's why you see teachers face this type of situation. I've seen a parent who says that teachers those are intellectuals in the society. I love teachers, but I would never like my child to become a teacher because I stay beside the school. When I see the treatment that's given to these people, I don't like my child to face that type of situation tomorrow. So the blame goes to the employers and the government, because the government needs something to do in order to ameliorate the situation.
Okay, the government needs to do something. You are a politician. You observe the situation of teachers. You think that something needs to be done, and urgently. Do you see the need for a special status to be given to teachers across the board, across the nation, so that whenever you are calling on somebody to come and serve as a teacher, you consider him or her based on that status?
You know, when we talk about teachers in Cameroon, they are employees, because in Cameroon, when I look at what workers go through in Cameroon, I am tempted to say that the government has gone on vacation what concerns working conditions.
Okay.
Because we have a labor code which is never respected by entrepreneur, by proprietors, by employers. And when I say the government has gone on holidays, it's because the government applies what is called, they call administrative tolerance. And that administrative tolerance is not beneficiary to the population of Cameroon. We see teachers, my fellow panelists here said they are paid 50,000 francs, but it is a sad reality to realize that in this very 21st century, teachers are being paid 25,000 francs a month. And those who that are paid 50,000 francs in Douala, I think that is some sort of modern slavery. Because you can't pay somebody 50,000 francs in Douala, meanwhile the least room that a person can pay to live in Douala is 15,000 francs, and you pay somebody 50,000, and 15,000 to 16,000 is allocated for transport within the month. That's already getting to about 32,000 francs out of the 50,000 you pay the person as salary. It means that the person cannot own a phone, this person cannot eat well, this person cannot go to a hospital when he or she is sick. And even when you go to the hospital, the treatment that you receive from there, it is really lamentable. Now, talking about the cases of teachers, I think the government should do something, because the proprietors have been left to do as they want. All the government did, when we talk, they will say we'd like to lash blames at the government. I don't know if they should lash the blames at John Stanford, because I don't have any power to do anything so presently. Now, the government said employees should negotiate their salaries with the employer. And since our employers are so selfish that they want to maximize profit, even at the detriment of the employees, if you pay somebody 50,000 francs in Douala, are you sure this person can be able to send his or her child to school? No, it's impossible. So,
Dr. you're not answering my question. My question to you was whether there should be a policy in Cameroon that places teachers on a particular status, so that whether you are recruiting them to teach at the secondary, primary level, they should be paid according to the status that has been officially accorded to teachers.
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Because I said before, the government said we should, the employers and employees should negotiate salary, what concerns salary. Meanwhile, the government will have put the basis that for a person who is a degree holder, who is a teacher, should be paid this particular sum of money, 150,000 francs upward. And those who are first school living, let me say GCE advanced level, should be paid maybe 70,000, 80,000 francs for a start. And when you acquire a number of years of experience, the money should be increased. But here, no way. What we have here teachers say is that as the time goes by, at the end of the day, they realize that they begin to have arrears. They don't pay their salaries on time. They even stay for months without salary, and they have to be pinching here and there. It is very true that some teachers involve themselves in other activities like private classes, and it really fetch them money. Some are very comfortable, while some are really suffering. I think the government should see into it, because the role of the government to protect and make sure that her citizens are living well and feeling comfortable at home.
Willie Ngapo, can we say that the proprietors of most of these private schools are taking advantage of the bad economic situation in the country to exploit young teachers?
It is very evident. Proprietors are taking advantage because the government is sleeping. You know, all these situations are happening simply because of the government's inactivity, or that is to put back proprietors on the train on what they were supposed to do. And when we even see the way proprietors obtain their authorizations, that is their authorization that permits them to open their schools, we see that there are things that are not going good. You see, the conditions for proprietor to have a school, the list of documents, the list of elements that the proprietor should put in a file to bring at the level of the ministry, starting even at the SEDUC, going through the regional delegations. But here in our society, most often proprietors obtain the authorizations without following all these steps. A simple example, the proprietor for a secondary school should have at least a bachelor degree. I know several proprietors here in our country, here in Cameroon, who are unable even to read and write, but they are proprietors. And when you look at the authorizations, you clearly see their names on those authorizations, meaning they have followed all the steps. You simply understand that they buy those documents. Once a proprietor is illiterate, once a proprietor has not had that minimum of an advanced level, not to talk about the bachelor degree, which he ought to have, it becomes very difficult for him to manage intellectuals who are teachers. So, and a number of problems can therefore develop from there. Another problem, another situation where the proprietors abuse because of the inactivity of the government. For instance, teachers ought to be paid in banks. Teachers ought to have paid books. Teachers even ought to be given a social status, that is through the social insurance contributions. How many proprietors today put their teachers in those conditions? They are very few. And most often proprietors even cut salaries, teachers' salaries, saying that they have a status in the social insurance contribution, whereas they don't have. Once you go there, you get to those companies, you ask for your matriculation number, they say they don't know you. But these people are partners with the government. The government, through the social insurance contributions, that is that company, they can know that proprietors are playing and they can do something to sanction that. So they are abusing. They are abusing. And the person to be blamed here is the government, because the government can do something over that. The government can do something over that. The government has put in place certain mechanisms. That is inspectors, that is people that can be going over schools to verify if things are done properly. Most often when these guys come to schools, they go to the proprietor's office and they come out with their envelopes. Once they are gone, the proprietor is okay. And the problems will still be maintained. How many inspectors come to school and go to classrooms? How many inspectors come to school and open logbooks? How many inspectors come to school and discuss with the teachers? They are very few. How many proprietors have the necessary conditions to have a school? The way our text, our ministerial text, asks things to be. That is the number of meters where the school should be built. That is, without talking about the diplomas that I was just talking about, there are many things that are not going. And and all this is happening because the ministry in charge of that secondary education or basic education are not doing their job the way you're supposed to do.
Ignatius, you raised the issue of regulation. Do you also think, like he says, that before creation, the government should check to ensure that those who are recruited are qualified and are adequately taken care of by whosoever wants to start a school, and that certainty, that guarantee can only be given by a fat bank account that shows that you are ready to kickstart an institution?
Yes, some of those, I would say that some of those the decisions have been taken as he's proposing from here. The problem is that the government is not following up. The government is taking decisions.
Yeah, but what are you saying? Are you saying that? Are you saying that if you have children in your house, and because you are so busy or you are not looking at what the children are doing, they get into prostitution, they get into banditry, you say, oh, it's because you applaud them for doing that. Why are the proprietors themselves not responsible? Should the government have a cane behind them?
Exactly. That's why I'm saying that I'm responding to a question that the government is supposed to do. But I want to make a signal that the government has been trying to do something like that. But what is wrong is I want to go back to what our brother said from here. That when it concerns the government actions, he can confirm that the government services have gone on vacation. So let me start saying it this way. Our sister mentioned 50,000 a year as a salary to a teacher. Another case is the number of months. Teachers receive only a salary, they receive salary only for 9 months of the academic year. If you go to the colleges instead, sometimes the situation is even 8. Which means that you live on 8 months of the academic of the year. Then how do you survive during the numbers, the rest of the month? But now, let me come back to what I said, that the government has tried to do something. There is something the government knows, and the government has been trying to follow up. The government there's this thing that the government has applied to the private school called subventions. The government came in with this thing because of the cry of the private sector, the employees in the private sector. When the government applied it, it is to support the private sector to pay teachers throughout the whole year. But unfortunately, the proprietors have discovered this subvention as a source of finance for further investment. And subvention comes as a result of hard work of the teacher. How does subvention come? There is control that passes through schools. Each academic year, there's control. There are about 4 controls. You have the inspector, the divisional, the regional, and then the national control. Each control comes, there are some points that when they control, they tick. A good playground, for a good classroom, there are those points. And those things are always good when the teachers are working hard. Even though they never concentrate on the side of the teacher, as my brother said from there. Those things, when you have a pass mark on those control, it is in the course of the year. Sometime in the school account, they will receive a message that the government granted subvention to them. But unfortunately, you will see schools that have been constructed since creation they have been constructed until it's becoming like a paradise. The proprietor, because there's much money, he preferred to use that government's money, buy another plot and launch a second school. But when you go to that old school that is like a paradise, you will still find somebody there who is not receiving 12 months. He receives salary on 12 months. He remains, which means it is greediness. That person remains there. That is the wickedness. So I believe that your question is making us to tell the government that the decision you have taken is not going. Another point is what my brother has said from here. The people that are closer to the teachers, the controllers, they come on the point that they are supposed to control. There is one day that is supposed to talk about the salaries of the teacher. All the proprietors take note of that one more than the other one. That one, they prepare themselves before control comes. When he wants to ask a question there, he is given an envelope and then he just disappears. And then, so I'm trying to tell the government and those people who are responsible for control that there is a way to control and know the situation of the teachers without the knowledge of the employer. Because if you come and call teachers and put them in the hall, it may be in a school owned by a proprietor and begin to ask them questions whether they are treated good. It is stupid. You want to betray them. They are going to, if they speak anyhow, they are going to be sanctioned. If they come to the school, all of them are learned people. You know how to do investigation to know. You speak secretly with people. So let the government know that the rules are not moving.
Okay.
And worse thing, the worse again, some proprietors, when is somebody who has served in a school maybe for about 17 years, maybe the person is already an old person, which means that he cannot be needed. Maybe in the job market, he cannot be accepted quickly somewhere. Then that proprietor treats the teacher in a way he likes, because he knows that there you have no choice.
Okay, there you have no choice. Miss Muke Ibang?
Yes.
Can we, from your discussions and other panelists, see that proprietors have very little concern for the well-being of the teachers?
Yes, I'll say it's true. It's very correct. Because some proprietors even go to the extent of listening to parents. Parents go behind, gang up with inspectors. The inspectors come to school to evaluate a particular teacher.
Mm-hmm.
That can be very demoralizing.
Mm-hmm.
They come and evaluate a particular teacher on their teaching skills just because the teacher did 1 or 2 things wrong. It's not correct. It's not correct. You do that to a teacher, I, for one, I'll be demoralized and I might drop. So you don't do that. And then the proprietors and proprietresses, they will take it like, okay, this is what this is happening. In fact, the proprietors, they know that the parents are their kings, you know. Mm-hmm. The parents are the ones paying the fees. So they are clients. So to them, they believe more in the parents. They don't believe more in the teachers. And that's not correct. The teacher is the one who is teaching the lesson. The teacher is the one who is in class. The teacher does all the researches to help the children. You as parent, you come because there is a particular method of teaching you have not understood. You come and start making some kind of noise. I'm not getting this. I'm not getting this. So to me, I think proprietors should go to the extent, encourage their teachers, encourage their head of departments. They should encourage them to teach parents how teaching and learning is done, so that the parents too should have an idea, so parents don't come and start giving oh, I've not understood this, what kind of school is this? And then the proprietor start.
Yeah, but
It's not correct.
Beside looking down on the teachers the way you are describing, do you think that proprietors actually sit and ask themselves whether this teacher is taking care of their family, this teacher is able to live a normal life? Do they really worry about that? Knowing that what the success of the school is determined by
That's on them.
the well-being of the teachers.
I think 70% of them, they do that. They will think about the teachers and their well-being of their families. But I think 30% of them don't do it.
They care very little.
Yes, they care very little.
I think I will have to disagree with her there.
Okay.
Yeah, because what we can talk about that, you realize that in all the schools, even they don't have human resource department. But human resource is the one who takes care of that. Maybe she's talking like that. Maybe she does not want her boss to maybe deal with her when she goes back to school. But me, I don't have a boss who is a proprietor. I'm not a teacher. So I will tell the truth. The proprietors don't care about the well-being of the teachers, because if they cared about the well-being of the teachers, you begin by paying them good salaries. Because when you pay them good salaries, their children will go to good schools too. Their children will eat well. They will, if sick, they will go to hospitals. They will live in good homes, good houses, and enjoy life. And like that, they will be motivated. And when they come to school to teach children, they will give out all they can give out. But when you see a teacher who hasn't ate the whole day, goes back to the house, sip Gary, and eat and sleep, get up in the morning and eat conchaff, come to school to teach a child, what do you think that teacher can give to that child apart from anger? Before the child tries to say, maybe the child, some children are slow in learning, the teacher will be angry with the child, because a hungry man is an angry man. You will not blame teachers for that. So what proprietors should do is to increase the salary of teachers. Look, the money you pay a teacher, you should think, if that money can feed you and your own family, before you should pay a teacher, because some of them have 2 children and the teachers have 4. But you give the salary of the teacher that your children don't use it for breakfast for a week. But you pay a teacher for that salary that he should take care of his own family for a whole month. It is ungrateful. God is watching. Proprietors, change, repent.
Well, we hope that the proprietors are getting the message. Some people think that the lone target objective of proprietors of private schools is profit making. Very little concern about the molding of a community, which is the teachers, because the teachers who are teaching in that school are a community, and the molding of the children themselves holistically, because to be able to move the children holistically, that's going beyond the lessons that you are giving in class, you really need to be in very good frame of mind.
Exactly. You know what makes a man to open a school nowadays in the society is because of profit maximization. It's because they are eager to make money. It's because they want to distinguish themselves from the society, saying that I am fondateur. Yes. So these teachers, as my dear panelist said,
and the tool you use to get the money are the teachers.
Are the teachers. Yeah. Yes. And the government accompanies you by giving you subsidies, as he said, by giving you subventions. And these subventions come in relationship to your results, the results you have obtained in the academic year. But who gave those results? The teachers, because they were working, because they work that is mercifully in order to obtain this result, because the only objective of a teacher is to see his student tomorrow succeeding. Proprietors care less about all this. Proprietors don't accept teachers to work the normal number of hours they ought to teach. I'm taking a situation of vacation. The total number of hours a teacher, that is a student, should learn, should acquire knowledge within an academic year is 900 hours. But most often in our schools, because proprietors are out to make profit, teachers will teach for 3 weeks, and there will always be 1 week of evaluation. And each time there are evaluations, there is no teaching. Our part-time teachers at this particular moment they are in the quarters because they cannot teach. And this is done technically by proprietors to save more money, because they pay teachers as they are teaching. They pay teachers per hour. So that is why whenever there are even public holidays, proprietors are very happy, because within these periods, they are not part-time teachers are not teaching. But it is not good. You know, that is why I would like to greet the Minister of Secondary Education, Madam Nalova, because things will change from this academic year. Yes, there is one note that she signed which stipulates that there will be 3 evaluations this upcoming academic year. That is the first term evaluation, the second term, and the third term evaluation. I think this will block that hungriness of proprietors to keep on blocking weeks in any month, saying that they are evaluating.
Saying that they are evaluating, but this very precarious situation in which teachers find themselves, not only teachers, many other sectors are affected in Cameroon. Now, this is happening when we know that there are trade unions existing at the primary, secondary, and other levels. Why, over the years, have they not been able to impose their law on proprietors? Because without the teachers, proprietors will do nothing.
The trade unions are existing, but if the trade unions are supposed to react to maybe through demonstrations, maybe boycott, but it is very impossible for teachers to respect such because teachers are they're hungry people. You see, even it happens that
it's sad that description that you give of a teacher as a hungry person. These are the molders of our society.
Yes, who are supposed to be role models.
Are they not?
Then they have been positioned in a position where
in the gutters.
Yes, they have been positioned in gutters. So, I say that trade unions are existing, but I don't. The results are not. I can say that they are dormant. Okay, let me. As my brother said something from there. You will notice that there are even situations that even block people, as we say, that hard work pays. There are also situations that even block teachers from working hard. Like in secondary schools, that they pay but hours. Now the proprietor become very sensitive. He makes sure that you should not teach for so many hours that will ask him much money. So he is the one that limits you to work but less hours, so that he pays you according to your number. So it is affecting even the output of the teachers.
I wanted to add something on what they talk when we talk of trade unions. You know, in our societies, in schools, companies, and organizations, trade unionism is considered as rebellion by the proprietors and employers. They consider members of the trade unions as terrorists, as rebellion. Now, the government has put us in a situation where we look for jobs, as everybody is out looking for a job. The employers don't treat the employees well because they know that the employees have nowhere to go to. How dare you enter into a trade union to counter what the proprietor says or to look into the proprietor's gumbo? Because by the time you go and tell the proprietor that no, you have to ameliorate the living conditions of the teachers, maybe run them a place where they have to lodge themselves and feel good also in the society like human beings, I tell you, you will lose your job. So, and it is given that trade unions have to consist of only the members of that particular company or school. Now, you find yourself in a school where you have no voice. If you become a member of a trade union, at times, the leaders of these trade unions are being absorbed by the proprietors or the owners of the institutions, and they give the trade union president money so that he should not be fighting for the interest of the teachers. Yes. You see the man now, you know that the mouth that eats cannot talk. By the time your mouth is filled with food, he says nothing. So he will be there that there is a trade union just by name, and he's doing no work that is beneficiary to those that he was supposed to work for.
Okay. Now, what is the situation of the contracts that binds most proprietors and teachers? Are you just called to teach? Do you really sign a contract?
There, I think it depends on the school. You are called to teach. You have applied for a job. You have been called for an interview. You did it when the interview was done. And when you are recruited, some schools, they give contracts for the teachers to sign before the start of the academic year. Some schools don't give. There are some proprietors who play over some kind of, just teach. We are going to give the contract. Just teach. we are going to give the contract. Like that, till June. No contract. Now, you are a little bit confused. Anything can happen at any time within the 9 months. You want to go, you can go. And the proprietors will be like...
please.
The proprietors will be like, okay, this person is gone, I can look for another person. The next person is coming, the next person is not signing a contract. So some of them are ready.
No job security.
No job security, which is bad.
Okay.
It's not correct.
You know, signing the contract means that you have to pay the insurance, because the government has said that any worker is supposed to be insured at the National Insurance Fund. But proprietors have decided to leave the teachers out of it, as if the teachers were not workers. Proprietors, you people should stand up. These teachers are human beings. They are teaching our societies. They taught the presidents and the ministers and are still teaching more that are to come. So they are human beings. Sign contracts with them. I think the government have to look into that. Thank God that Madame Nalova Lyonga is not taking it easy on schools. She should not limit at the level of government schools. I think private schools are more than government schools. Yeah. And much attention should be paid with the private school, because they are the people who are filled with these abuses. Because government schools, the teachers are comfortable. Because we talk of private schools receiving 8 months salaries within a whole year. But the private school, they don't face that difficulty. During the holidays, they sleep in their houses. Their salaries are still passing.
Okay.
I wanted to add something.
Very briefly, yeah.
Yes, I was trying to say that that question like that, there's something which parents themselves do not know when it concerns entry into a school. There are proprietors, as you said, that they are out for money. A proprietor, you can come with a good qualification and you are looking for a job. Then somebody who is having a qualification far lower than your qualification, because that person is accepting a salary that is very small. The proprietor will leave you out and take but the person with a low qualification, and that person who knows that I'm going to take a position which is not my position, and so I have to be submissive. He has to accept all the conditions and stop asking for things like contract.
Okay, we are going over to the newsroom to follow what has made news this day across the nation with our staff lady, Emilienne Ngobason.
Being one of more than 200 majors of HIPMAT, I am proud of my success. It all began at HIPMAT.
I am a CEO. I coach and lead a team of salespeople. I don't hesitate to tell them the vision was planted and molded by HIPMAT.
Today, I stand on a pedestal of experienced and committed lecturers. The foundation was laid by HIPMAT.
For over a decade, HIPMAT's credibility and ministerial recognition have trained more than 15,000 professionals in business management and engineering from HND to BTech, MBA, and what have you. With an outstanding partnership with the University of Bamenda for BTech and MBA programs, our undoubted commitment to your show's success is a reflection of the future you painted. The Higher Institute of Business Management and Technology, HIPMAT, a university for professionals.
De l'inédit au Cameroun, le tout premier collège canadien ouvre ses portes dès septembre 2019. Performance Education Center, en partenariat avec les grandes écoles canadiennes, offre aux élèves du second cycle un cadre prestigieux, calme et propice pour des études avec des enseignants chevronnés canadiens et camerounais. À Performance Education Center, obtenez le baccalauréat canadien, vous ouvrant automatiquement les portes des plus grandes universités canadiennes et du monde via les bourses d'études garanties. Performance Education Center propose également des programmes de formation bilingue de 2 ans permettant d'obtenir un permis de travail au Canada après obtention d'une attestation d'études collégiales du Québec équivalent du BTS sous l'assistance de Performance Immigration Canada. Performance Education Center est situé à Locbessou, derrière Antenne CRTV, 10e avenue. Performance Education Center, visa vers le Canada et le monde.
Bienvenue sur votre télévision pour le journal du soir. À la une de l'actualité de ce jour, le président du parti du Social Democratic Front, Ni John Fundi, exprime son profond désarroi quant à la situation de crise dans les régions du nord-ouest et du sud-ouest. Le dimanche 11 août dernier, les fidèles musulmans, surtout le triangle national, ont célébré la fête du sacrifice. L'atmosphère de l'insécurité dans les régions du nord du Cameroun persiste. Pour remédier à ce problème, le gouverneur de cette région lance une opération appelée l'opération Coup de poing. C'était tout pour le titre. À présent, le journal complet. Les fidèles musulmans de la capitale économique Douala ont célébré le 11 août dernier la fête du sacrifice, encore appelée la fête du mouton, à la mosquée centrale de Bonamoussadi. L'imam Iya Ousmanou, pendant son exhortation, a centré son message sur la paix au Cameroun. Plus de détails sur le reportage avec Fetata en langue anglaise.
The Feast of Sacrifice, according to the Imam of the Bonamoussadi Central Mosque, is a spiritual practice enshrined in the Quran by Prophet Muhammad.
Alhamdulillah, nous remercions Allah Jalla wa Ala qui nous a facilité et qui nous a donné la paix et tranquillité dans notre pays. On a commencé ces mois depuis les premiers jusqu'à aujourd'hui, les 10, sans problème. On a certaines personnes dans notre communauté, certains ont gêné les premiers jusqu'à les 9. Certains ont fait beaucoup de lectures de Coran, beaucoup de zikri, beaucoup d'adoration. Pourquoi? Parce que ces mois, Allah a honoré ces mois. C'est un grand mois dans les 12 mois. Et le prophète sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, il a dit, il n'y a pas les meilleurs jours qui a le valeur devant Allah comme les jours-là. Donc c'est pour cela encore, alhamdulillah, aujourd'hui c'est la fête.
In his sermon, the Imam called on Allah to restore peace in Cameroon.
Le message que je veux dire, on a fait la prière ici, on a beaucoup fait la prière depuis les premiers jusqu'à aujourd'hui. On demande la paix et tranquillité dans notre pays. Qu'Allah nous donne la paix et tranquillité. S'il n'y a pas la paix, il n'y a pas de tranquillité. Même la mosquée là, les gens ne viennent pas faire la prière. Donc ce n'est que les messages là que je dis. Je demande à Allah de multiplier encore, de nous donner la paix et tranquillité dans notre pays. Et Inch'Allah, tous les musulmans du monde, avec tous les Camerounais, surtout les gens de Douala et surtout nous ici dans le quartier de Bonamou Sadi, dans notre mosquée de Bonamou Sadi.
On their part, the Muslim faithfuls went home to put into practice their faith in Allah by sacrificing the lamb. Others instead preferred to offer a cow as their sacrifice. At lunchtime, family members, friends and non-Muslim faithfuls were invited to the buffet table.
My Media Prime a également eu un entretien avec la reine-mère de la mosquée centrale de Bonamou Sadi, Adja Sabiatou, dans l'optique de savoir auprès d'elle quelle est l'importance de la fête du sacrifice pour la femme musulmane. Écoutons son propos.
Il n'y a pas une différence entre cette fête, entre les femmes et les hommes. Donc, c'est un jour de fête de sacrifice. Beaucoup d'entre nous, on parle de la fête de mouton. Ce n'est pas la fête de mouton, mais c'est la fête de sacrifice. Et ça tombe dans les 10 premiers jours. Donc, c'est le 11e jour aujourd'hui. Donc, c'est presque, on peut dire, notre fin d'année. Donc, et ça accompagne aussi... les jeunes, on a jeûné aussi pour les 10 premiers jours et il y a beaucoup de récompenses pour ceux jeunes qu'on a jeûné depuis le premier jusqu'au 10e jour, c'était hier. Et hier, c'était un grand jour, un jour béni, le jour de Arafat, que les pèlerins montent dans le mont Arafat à la Mecque. Le travail était dû hier jusqu'à l'heure actuelle, là, ils sont en train de travailler, vraiment c'est pour les soutenir avec nos spirituellement quoi. Donc vraiment la fête aussi s'est bien passée, la prière s'est bien.
Du côté de Koumba, ce même message de paix a fait l'objet du discours de l'imam de la mosquée centrale de Koumba pendant la célébration de la fête du sacrifice dans cette ville. Plus de détails avec Stanford Sidouane à langue anglaise.
Sunday, October 11, 2019, Koumba, Cameroon. Muslims have been challenged to remain peaceful and law-abiding as they face the socio-political challenges in the restive Meme division. This was during the sacrifice feast, better known as the Feast of Tabaski. The message was echoed by Imam Muhammad of the Koumba Central Mosque in the presence of the senior divisional officer for Meme, Ntundong Chamberlain. Gathered at the mosque this Sunday, they prayed and asked the Almighty God to intervene into the security challenges in the country. The Meme SDO reiterated the campaign for peace after attending the ceremony.
We wish to all of them very happy celebration, and you understood together the message. That means they pray God for peace, and we need peace in this country, particularly within the Meme division. Me also, like the state representative, let me highlight that without peace, there is no development. That is why all of us will put our effort together to be sure that there is peace in this country in general, in the Meme division in particular.
He equally used the occasion to ask the Muslims to prepare and send their children to school in September for the 2019-2020 academic year.
The main message is that they will send back all their children to school. Without school, there is no future. That is why me, in my level, I will take appropriate measures to be sure that the whole division is fully secured. It's a maximum challenge, and their own is just to trust the state and to send back the children to school.
As a wake-up call to the entire Muslims and non-Muslims, the chief of the Muslim community, Malam Adamu Muhammad Uba, stated that every Muslim should be the flag-bearer of peace to reign in the community.
The principal message is that people should live in peace. We are in this period is not the best. So I will enjoin every Muslim to live in peace. And you know, Islam preaches peace, is the religion of peace. So we want peace and nothing but peace. And people should coexist happily with their neighbors. Whether they are Muslims or Christians or enemies, they should all live together peacefully and in harmony.
Going back to the celebration, the Muslims were equally called to go beyond mere celebration by understanding the significance of the Ram feast, which, according to a Muslim scholar, must be respected in the life of each true Muslim.
This is a feast of sacrifice. It has a lot of great significance. Going back in the tradition of Abraham, we are following the tradition of Abraham when he has the only son Ishmael, and he was commanded by God to sacrifice him. So as he was about to sacrifice his only son because of the love he has for Almighty God, then Almighty God ransomed him with a ram. So this thing we maintain it as a commemoration to follow the footsteps of Abraham, because he is our great grandfather. So we follow it as all the prophets were following, so we were commanded to follow this particular tradition.
The celebration ended with feasting as they communed with the entire Muslim community who attended the celebrations in Kumba, Cameroon.
Le président du Parti du Social-Démocratique Front, en la personne de Ni John Frondi, a exprimé sa réelle préoccupation au sujet des tensions socio-politiques en cours dans les régions du Nord-Ouest et du Sud-Ouest. Ceci s'est fait lors de son discours tenu à Douala le week-end dernier pendant la réunion du comité exécutif national. Plus de détails avec Metougué Stanley.
The Social Democratic Front's National Executive Committee came together, attended by mayors, parliamentarians and other bigwigs of the party, was preoccupied by the ongoing Anglophone crisis.
The Anglophone crisis preoccupies the SDF very much, and we cannot have a meeting without discussing the Anglophone crisis, which has swept so many of our children. We've lost thousands of children, we've lost people. People are under hardship in the bushes, under rains. Some are dying in the bushes, not accounted for. So that when history shall have it, that we sit down to look at the Anglophone crisis, you can never have the true figures of how many people we lost in the bushes. Because even those that are dying in the camps, refugee camps in Nigeria and in this country, we don't know. And they're dying not because they should die, but because they don't have the adequate and proper medical treatment. So we had this preoccupied us.
According to the SDF national chairman, the long-standing socio-political tension in Cameroon should be blamed on President Paul Biya.
And we laid the blames squarely on Mr. Biya's shoulders, that he is the cause of all this. And if things are getting rotten, deteriorating and going the way they are going, it's because of bad governance, which the SDF had pointed out to him over 20 years ago. And up till today, we are still facing the same problems, dilly-dallying, dragging. All the commissions is formed in the pretext that is resolving the Anglophone problems, but these things are still staring at Cameroonians straight in their faces.
On the sidelines of the NEC meeting, Chairman Ni John Frondi received an award from afriqueinforme.com as the best politician in Cameroon for the past 29 years. The SDF chairman thanked the online news agency for the award while recounting the ordeals he has gone through as a politician, with the scars he sustained during his recent abduction by separatists still visible. He also congratulated journalists for their bravery in reporting the socio-political stalemate despite the rough communication climate in Cameroon.
Place à présent aux élections municipales et législatives. Pour ce qui est de ces élections, le président du SDF, Ni John Frondi, déclare que son parti est suffisamment prêt. Seulement, il déplore la crise anglophone qui sévit dans les régions du Nord-Ouest et du Sud-Ouest. Pour lui, cette préoccupation ou alors ce problème doit être prioritairement résolu. Écoutons-le dans le reportage suivant.
The SDF is ever ready for any elections in this country. But the unfortunate thing at this moment is that we cannot leave the Anglophone problems unsolved and we are rushing into elections. We allowed him to conduct the presidential elections, and we knew that he was going to grab the position of the presidency. And we thought that for once, the call of conscience will down on him for him to tell Cameroonians that let us look at these problems and resolve them so that we can live in a country of smiling plenty. But he's instead worsened things, declaring war on his children and doing many other things. So we are still looking onto them, hoping that the call of conscience will come to him for him to say, Cameroonians, let us release these people that were imprisoned because of their political beliefs.
Le chef du village de Livanda, Sa Majesté Mathias Motra, a exprimé son mécontentement quant à la visite inattendue de Ni John Frondi dans sa chefferie le week-end dernier. Plus de détails dans le reportage d'Yvonne Wallet.
Following the condolence visit of the national chairman of the Social Democratic Front, Ni John Frondi, to the family of victims who passed on after eating dinner in Limbe, the chief of Livanda village, His Royal Highness Motia Matthias Motia, has issued a communique on Monday, August 12, expressing his dissatisfaction with the breach of protocol and unauthorized visit to his chiefdom by the SDF chairman. In the communique and an interview he granted to the press, the chief demanded that the national chairman give reasons for the breach of protocol and issue an apology under 48 hours to the chiefdom of Livanda. It should be noted that the SDF chairman and his entourage paid a condolence visit to the bereaved family who lost Madame Gladys Ebai, Madame Shilambeng, and Little Che Shalom after they had dinner, which is suspected to have had traces of poison.
Yes, we, the Livanda village community, represented by I, Chief Motia Matthias Motia, we are demanding Mr. Ni John Frondi to give us a letter of explanation about his visit to Livanda village and a letter of apology for breaking into our village boundaries without the knowledge of this village. We are giving him a period of 48 hours to give us a letter of explanation and an apology letter explaining himself, his purpose of his visit to Livanda.
Dans l'optique de lutter contre l'insécurité accrue dans les régions du Nord et de la Damawa, le gouverneur de la région du Nord a lancé une opération appelée Opération Coup de poing en présence du commandant de la 3e région de gendarmerie. Les détails dans le reportage suivant. Les populations des régions du Nord et de la Damawa étaient en proie ces derniers temps à des actes de banditisme rural marqués par des prises d'otages, assorties de demandes de rançon, des attaques, de coupures de route, des vols de bétail, braconnage et bien d'autres. Ayant pris acte de cette situation, le haut commandement sur haute instruction du chef d'État a décidé de prendre le taureau par les cornes en lançant une opération appelée Opération Coup de poing, dont l'objectif est de mettre hors d'état de nuire ces bandits des grands chemins et réinstaurer le calme et la paix dans ces deux régions. Des moyens financiers et matériels subséquents, au dire du commandant de la 3e région de gendarmerie, le général Ekwangese Divine Noko, chargé de diriger cette opération, ont été mis à la disposition des responsables des forces de défense et de sécurité pour mener à bien cette mission. Cette lutte contre le phénomène de banditisme rural dans ces régions. Une réunion de lancement de cette opération s'est tenue à Garoua en présence du gouverneur de la région du Nord, réunion au cours de laquelle toutes les dispositions prises et les moyens mis à disposition pour le meilleur accomplissement de cette mission ont été portés à la connaissance du gouverneur. L'ancien chef du cabinet du gouverneur de la région du Sud-Ouest a rendu l'âme dans son village natal dans le Nord-Ouest. Sa dépouille a reçu les derniers honneurs de la part des populations du Sud-Ouest dès ce vendredi 9 août 2019. Reportage avec Christine Noëlla en langue anglaise.
This is the Boya Regional Hospital mortuary on Friday, August 9, 2019, where the mortal remains of the late Tangwa Stephanus Lenzemo, Chief of Cabinet at the Southwest Governor's Office, was laid. A mammoth crowd was present to mourn and bid farewell to the young civil administrator who was taken by the cold hands of death in a ghastly motor accident in the wee hours of Sunday morning, August 4, 2019. From the Boya mortuary, his casket was taken to the St. Anthony Catholic Parish, Boya, where a funeral mass was held to commend his soul into God's hands. During the mass, the parish priest centered his homily on getting the minds of the Christians ready to receive the Son of Man. He invited the worshippers to be watchful about the future and to be prepared and get ready at all times so as not to be taken unaware when their hour of death arrives.
The gospel passage we listen to invites us to be ready, to stand ready for the return of the Master, who is coming at an hour we do not expect.
Addressing the mourners present at the funeral mass was the governor of the Southwest region, Bernard Okalia-Bilai, the boss to the late Tangwa, who in a heavy tone expressed sadness for the demise of his chef Cap, whom he said was very duty-conscious, as he was kind-hearted, loving and very peaceful.
During his tenure of office as chief of cabinet, he was duty-conscious, assiduous, jovial, kind-hearted, peaceful, and above all, a loving person.
He conveyed his sympathy to the bereaved family and encouraged them to be strong. Saturday, August 10, 2019, at Nkwen in Bamenda, northwest region of Cameroon, the remains of the vibrant and charismatic Chef Cap, as he was fondly called, was buried at the St. Michael's Catholic Parish Futru Nkwen Church Cemetery. The deceased was appointed Chief of Cabinet at the Southwest Governor's Office in December 2017, a position he served until his death. He leaves behind 2 children, an expectant fiancé, his entire family, friends, colleagues, and well-wishers to mourn him. May his soul rest in peace.
En sport, le championnat de football des jeunes de Mémé, organisé par le comité divisionnaire de Mémé pour la jeunesse, s'est achevé. Plus de détails dans le reportage de Tamfo Sidouane.
The Mémé Youth Tournament, organized by the Mémé Divisional Committee for Youth Football, has ended in Kumba, chief town of Mémé Division, Cameroon. The youth tournament was organized in line with a vision to fight juvenile delinquencies and encourage talent in the division. The Sunday 11 October final saw 2 matches at the under-12 and the under-14 categories, which emerged finalists during the over 30 days of play. At the under-12 category, Makata FC bowed down to Legend FC by 0-2, while Bresa FC gave a 5-4 spanking against Gunners Football FC of Boya Road at the post-match penalties. The organizers, on their part, appreciated the 2 champions, the Legend FC and Brescia Football Club, at the under-12 and under-14, but however expressed worries on the poor organization in terms of funding, reason why My Media Prime was unable to know the cash prize given to the winners and runners-up in the 2 categories. Other categories like the best players, best goalkeepers and many others were not awarded due to limited finances. The president of the Mémé Youth Football, Barrister Toba Alex, hinted that they hope for a better organization during the December holidays tournament. Meanwhile, the Secretary General, Shengang Richard, says the sports-loving community in the division should encourage youth football in order for them to have a better organization of youth tournaments in future, but calls on Fecafoot to be serious when it comes to youth tournaments in the division.
C'est la fin de ce journal. Rappel des titres. Le président du Parti du Social Democratic Front, Ni John Frondi, exprime son profond désarroi quant à la situation de crise dans le nord et le sud-ouest. Le 11 août dernier, les fidèles musulmans ont célébré sur tout le triangle national la fête du sacrifice, encore appelée fête du mouton. Le gouverneur de la région du Nord a lancé l'opération Coup de poing pour remédier aux problèmes d'insécurité dans cette région. Mesdames et messieurs, c'était tout pour l'édition de ce jour, produit par Metougué Stanley, réalisé par Ewane Elai. Au micro de présentation, j'étais Emilienne Wami. Merci pour votre aimable attention. Rendez-vous demain, même heure, pour une autre édition. Bonsoir.
one of more than 200 majors of HIPMAT. I am proud of my success. It all began at HIPMAT.
I am a CEO. I coach and lead a team of salespeople. I don't hesitate to tell them the vision was planted and molded by HIPMAT.
Today, I stand on a pedestal of experienced and committed lecturers. The foundation was laid by HIPMAT.
For over a decade, HIPMAT's credibility and ministerial recognition have trained more than 15,000 professionals in business management and engineering from HND to BTech, MBA and what have you. With an outstanding partnership with the University of Bamenda for BTech and MBA programs, our undoubted commitment to your show's success is a reflection of the future you painted. The Higher Institute of Business Management and Technology, HIPMAT, a university for professionals.
Welcome back. You're watching Prime Hour on My Media Prime. We continue with our discussion for tonight that has to do with the relationship between private school owners and their teachers. And I was asking whether it's a gold mine that needs attention, scrutiny from the government and the society. Mr. Fundu Ignatius Tebek, can we, from the discussions that we've been having since the beginning of this program, conclude that teachers are being exploited by proprietors, or the fact that they are just helpless and they are ready to take anything?
Yes, they are being exploited by their employers. The reason being that there is no follow-up.
They're helpless.
Yes, and I wish to use this opportunity to tell the government that you have taken good decisions that have instead made proprietors rich and made the teachers more poorer.
How?
Why? Their sources are from CMPS. Some will apply CMPS in their schools, apply to the meager salaries that they pay teachers. They will subtract and instead put it back into their accounts and they do not send it to CMPS. And I would like to, as a point of advice to the government, especially the minister, as my brother was proposing from here, Madame Narova and the other one, Laurent Search, Etondi, I would like them to understand that you have to follow up that a school that receives government subvention, follow the school, follow up
how substantial is that subvention? If a school is given 1 million, what do you do with 1 million?
I know that the government is rich. The government they have done research before taking any decision. They know they have done calculation. The government does not just take any decision.
How much, according to you, does a school receive as subvention?
Because I'm not a proprietor, I cannot know exact amount that they receive, but it is millions. I'm telling the government that they should follow up that a school that receives government subvention should pay the teachers 12 months of the year and good salaries. Even without the subventions, Leonard, I want to tell you that there are schools here that are richer than companies in the seaport. They are rich, but they don't pay, they don't treat their employees very well. They are very greedy. We are telling the government to wake up. And the government should warn those people who are closer to the teachers, especially at the regional level, because those are the people who finish and kill the teacher through envelopes under the table.
Okay, through envelopes under the table, Madam Muke Ebang, poor working conditions for teachers, most of you are teachers, and you see the conditions are not too good. What implication for the students and pupils who are sent to study under these teachers? Is there a direct impact that they may not be taught very well?
Yes.
Their case may be different.
Yes, that's not a big problem, but they say an angry man, a hungry man is an angry man. if a teacher does not eat well, sometimes you see it on their faces. To teach is going to be a real big problem for them. So it's going to affect the children they are teaching. It will affect the children they are teaching. So sometimes I think their working conditions should be better off in such a way that they'll be able to handle the challenges and then relate in the lessons they are teaching for the children to properly understand what they are trying to do.
Have you had an instance where you went to class because you were not too happy and it had a direct impact on the way you related with the kids in school that day?
Yes, I've had a situation like that. It was so bad. Even though I almost hit a child in class because of that. It was so bad. I had to control myself, put myself in order, and then work with the children so that they should not realize it. But I was a little bit hyper. I was a little bit hyper, almost give a knock to a child. I was shouting at them. But that's because of the way I was treated by my employer. So it made me to be angry, to get to the extent where I took my decision and left it to myself.
You left it to yourself. Now, I want to stay with another teacher. Tell me your experience. Do you think that the fact that teachers are not well paid, there's a possibility that they don't do their job very well? The students and pupils pay the price for the bad treatment that is reserved for the teachers?
Yes, for me as a teacher, I believe this job is just like somebody decides to become a priest. It is a vocation, it is a call, So teachers who really call themselves teachers, who go along, that is applying in schools to teach, for me, I think they are professionals. They are just like soldiers. It is not because a soldier has not been paid, or has not been well paid, that he will go at the battlefield and refuse to fight. So teachers, professional as they are, no matter the various things which they go through within the academic year, for me, I don't think that the student, I don't think the student should bear all this, because students are innocent. They are innocent. They don't know what is going through. They don't know the relationship between teachers and proprietors. Yes. So teachers should not impact on their sufferings to the students.
Yeah, but maybe it happens without premeditation, just because of your psychological continence. You tend to do what they call transfer aggression.
I think it is natural. It's not what we will say is that we plead that the teachers should remain professional and do what they are called to do, and not to transfer aggression on the innocent children. Because normally, when teachers are talking, but I as a parent, I remember once my little daughter came to the house and told me that Auntie ate my food today in school. And all I told my little daughter is that Auntie was also hungry. And hunger is a friend to no one. So as Auntie was also hungry, so she had to eat her food. So tomorrow we'll put enough food so that Auntie would take a bit and eat, so that a bit will also remain for you to eat. Now, imagine the teacher goes to the level of eating the child's food. It is not out of her own will. Nobody would like to reduce herself to that level. But they had times, they had conditions, they had ways under which they do their job. Now push her. A hungry man is an angry man. I would prefer a teacher eat my child's food and give my child the best than to stay hungry and then beat my child for no just cause. So I think that the way teachers are being treated can affect their motivation towards their job. Because in human resources, we know that when somebody is psychologically stable, that means you leave your house, because a worker who leaves a house and has problem with his wife will not produce that day as when he is happy back at home with his wife. So at times we are pushed to talk to the workers to know how their situation back at home, how their children, how they live, so that we make sure that we can help them to live well at home, because the way they live at home will be seen in their workplace. So if teachers are comfortable, well paid, they eat well, they fit well, they pay their house rent. Because imagine the face of a teacher who in passing in the morning is attacked by his landlord that you have not paid your rent on time or you are owing me 3 months rentage, do you think that teacher will come to school happy? He won't come to school happy. That aggression will be transferred to the children, innocent children, because he had no voice. You know, a poor man where you are begging, you cannot have a voice on the person who is aggressing you. So I think teachers should be treated well so that our children can also have the best.
Okay, we've just been joined by Mr. Taji Joseph Fale. He's former Zone 2 pedagogic head and a head teacher.
Yes.
Yeah, in Douala.
Yes, in Douala.
Yeah, your take on the situation of teachers. Are you people really comfortable doing what you're doing?
Thank you very much. I want to thank you for this enormous job you are doing, because it seems as if we have been crying the situation of private teachers in Douala for years. And we never had somebody who could help expose us and let the public know and the society the situation of teachers. Lionel, I want to tell you that no private teacher is comfortable with what he or she is doing.
Okay.
Yes, because the truth is that the government really grant permission to the proprietors and proprietresses to run these schools in order to help the children and let them become literate in the long run. And us, the teachers, the private teachers, we find it very difficult excelling in the hands of these proprietors and proprietresses. Our situation is very appalling. So we are here to decry and tell the government that the system is very corrupt, because the proprietors and proprietresses, they do come together and define the situation of private teachers on how to enslave them the more.
Okay.
But I would like to refer this problem back to the government, because the government have set aside, let me say they have set aside companies or groups or people who are supposed to cater for these proprietors. For example, Sejuk. Sejuk is here to ensure that the private schools are being run as expected. Now, when you see the situation of private teachers, when they are having problems with their proprietors and proprietresses, you will go to the labor office. For example, you go to the labor office and complain that your situation is not all that good. Now, the inspector of the labor office would love to help the situation of the private teachers, but because of the corrupt nature, you will see the proprietor hiding his chest that I have the monies and you can't do anything with me. So it comes to the fact that you see the lawyers who are working under these proprietors and proprietresses, they now help the proprietors and proprietresses to make life more difficult on the private teachers. So I would like to tell the government, please ensure that Sejuk, whom you have put to cater for the private schools in Cameroon, they should follow up these proprietors and proprietresses. And I would also like to tell my fellow brothers and sisters lawyers who are working under these people that please, teachers are the people that are building the nation, because in any society you will find a teacher's presence involved.
Okay. Now, how do we explain? Let me come back to you. Yes. He says teachers have been enslaved. That is the word you used.
Yes.
How do we explain that school proprietors are really very rich, yet teachers are treated like slaves, the way he's describing?
Yes, some teachers are treated like slaves, because a teacher will not, they are not the ones who made holidays, vacations. Schools proprietors will not pay them during vacations.
But children pay full fees
for the whole year.
They don't pay according to the number of days they come to school.
Yes.
The teachers are paid according to the number of days they
come to school. So I think it's not a good sign for teachers. So they are poorly treated at that level. It's not correct.
Yeah, you have something to add?
Yes, I would like to tell you that looking at the conditions that are laid for a teacher to be employed in the primary or secondary school under these proprietors and proprietresses, you will see that the type of contract that they formulate enslaves us, the private teachers. You will find them renewing a contract with teachers on a yearly basis, which is not allowed. Because when you follow the labor code, you see the way a contract is supposed to be signed with the proprietor or employee. But you find them signing contract with teachers and renewing it yearly, making it difficult for the teacher. And the government states that for you to employ or to open or run a school, you are supposed to present your staff, pay them 12 on 12. There is even nothing like 9-month or 10-month salary for private teacher. No.
Okay.
the government allows the proprietors, the promoters of schools to pay their teachers 12 months round.
Okay.
But in this situation, you find them reducing it to 9 months, 10 months, because they have decided that if they give room for private teachers to better up their life, they might turn or find themselves also teaming up and then promoting schools. So their reason is to always enslave them and make them remain stagnant.
Yeah, but
so that they'll always be lacking.
But I'm sure the teachers themselves have accepted that status because this has been going on for long. Let me take some messages. Should I obtain permission from the chief to visit my village, my friend in that village? I am Mr. Nzo, writing from Kumba. I'm sure he's reacting to the news on the chairman of the STF. This one says, I wish to see that teachers are their own enemies. We should not only blame proprietors. If a teacher refuses to take an amount as salary from a proprietor, the next teacher looking for a job will accept the ridiculous amount. Another problem is the fact that the teaching profession has been invaded by charlatans who don't master the ethics of the profession. They will accept just anything. Teachers need to bond together and stand up for the profession. I'm Valentine Aka from Bomenda. Okay, Mr. Valentine, say hello to Madam Station Manager. This one says, my best private school is Golden Bilingual Institute in Yaoundé. Keep the messages flowing. We want to know which school is the best in Cameroon. At the end of this month, we are going to count the votes and declare which school is the winner. Mr. Andy for Ferdinand says, the way government treats her teachers is not encouraging at times, like discrimination in status at the level of integration and long delays in salaries after integration. Okay, Ferdinand for things that the government teachers themselves have issues as far as treatment is concerned from the government. But at least
they have grow low.
They buy plots and most fall bush. Good evening to you all in the studio. I will have nothing to contribute to the talking point, but would like to appreciate the managing board of My Media Prime for the innovations they have brought in. Greetings to Uncle Joe Mfonbui. This is Kenan watching from Yaoundé. Thank you for those words of encouragement. Hello, good evening. I'm enjoying the program. It's Chiquin Barnabas from Bafmeng. Bafmeng is in Fungom subdivision in Menchum division, an institution which has kept on promoting the population of Bafmeng in the northwest regions of Cameroon despite in conducive atmosphere. This is St. Gabriel's College. Bafmeng is my best school. Okay, thank you very much. Munda Grace writing from Bamenda. My best school are private schools. Okay, no single school. You say all of them are the best schools. My name is Cyprian from Moyuka. My best school is GTHS. You do not say the name. There are good laws in Cameroon, but there is no proper follow-up by the government. That is why proprietors of schools are free to do what they desire to their workers. Please treat your workers well. Motale Ferdinand is writing from Yaoundé. Good evening to you in the panel. I'm Owendike Ebel Iyambe from Bonaberi Douala. Truly speaking, private teachers are treated like slaves, teaching large class sizes. They walk like elephants and eat like ants. Too bad. I think the people helping the proprietors to maltreat the teachers are the inspectors, and judgment awaits them if they don't change. My best school is Fifna Anglo-Saxon Bonaberi. Good evening, this is Mr. Jonas from Kumba. I wish to say that the effects of private school teacher are really bad, not only to the teachers but to the children and to the parents. Due to low wages, you can't expect the teacher to provide his best when he can provide his basic needs. At times, they treat the students very bad due to frustrations, which is right. You can't expect a teacher to be very happy with the students when they are owing house rents, no foods in their kitchens. Much of such schools are in Kumba. Okay, this one says, my name is Fonge Gregory. In my opinion, some teachers are not paid according to their hard work, especially private schools. Wisdom, bad working conditions. This one says, greetings to the studio. My best school is GBHS Womb. Divine Grace, writing from Douala Bonaberi. Okay, that's my alma mater also. My best school is JHS Bekura Barombi because I have passed through the school. I also want to use this opportunity to greet my principal, Mr. Njana Padi. My name is Mongo Brian. Okay, thank you for remembering your teacher. This one says the best school is Baptist High School, Yaoundé. Awi. Your name is Abdullahi. Keep the messages coming. We will be discussing them. Mr. Willie Ngapo. She raised the issue of very bad working conditions because of the teachers are enslaving. He raised the issue. Do you have the impression that you were treated like slaves, or some of your colleagues?
Actually, especially teachers in the private sectors, as we are in the domain we're talking right now, teachers in the private sectors are really treated like slaves. As I earlier said here, teachers are the ones who give results to private schools. And because of this result, proprietors have a lot of money coming through subsidies and even congratulations coming from friends and coming even from the administration. Yeah, the proprietors will hardly transfer these congratulations back to the teachers, who are the ones who made these results.
They take the glory.
They take the glory, whereas they are unable to treat these teachers the way they are supposed to be treated.
And they cannot do master class.
Exactly. So that's what I think.
That is what you think. Now, many. Okay, I want you to react to Mr. Aka from Bomenda, who says the teachers themselves are their worst enemies.
Yeah, we can say the teachers themselves are the worst enemy, but to a lesser extent. To a greater extent, I think the enemies to the teachers, I will keep pointing fingers to the government, because they are the father of this family that we call Cameroon, and they are supposed to regulate and make sure that everything is moving the way it is supposed to move. But if you fold your arms and sit, you know, a black man cannot move well when you don't use a cane on him. A black man is not such that you talk to them and you sit and fold their arms and they do it. You see, the same way the Minister of Public Works came the other day in Douala and realized that the work that was being done on ground was poorly done. Meanwhile, inspectors had come earlier to inspect the work. That's just to show you that some of these inspectors, they may come and end up in hotel rooms, sit there and make phone calls that you see like I'm coming to inspect you, and the man brings an envelope and he puts it under his pillow, and the work on the ground is poorly done. So the teachers, as someone wrote that the field is made of quacks and charlatans, it is very true. Because now in our country, people who are jobless, you look left, you look right, you don't see anywhere to go. You are a university graduate, you have to put food on your table. Even you just study political science in school, you find them going to teach history in the secondary school. Meanwhile, those who were trained to teach history are maybe somewhere suffering. And these charlatans are the ones living life comfortably. So now, when you are a teacher, if you say that the problem are teachers themselves, who are the real teachers and who are the charlatans? Because when the real teacher says, okay, I will not teach for a salary of 70,000, the quack will come and take 40,000 because he has nothing to lose. He is going there. If he like, he will go and face the children for that year. The next year he moves to another school. After all, there are so many schools out there. And the selfish proprietor will like to pay the one who will take less salary, forgetting that the educational quality will also count. That's why you will hear some teachers practicing funny things on our children in school just because of these salaries and the way they are being recruited. Because you recruit a quack and a bandit because you want to pay him a low salary who is not professionally trained as a teacher to take care of children the way he's supposed to do, then you find yourself at the end of the day we begin hearing funny news coming out from schools. Now, I will still call on the attention of Madame Nalova Lyonga. I appreciated the work that she has done so far, and I will pray she intensify and not only concentrate on the public schools, I mean government schools. She should extend it to the private schools. The schools that are opening soon. She should also know and put into consideration that schools that were being closed down by the government, they go to come to fake and come out with new names and go into existence and continue in funny practices. These schools are the same schools that don't insure their teachers. because they are not registered. Because when you are registered, you are a registered company. You must register your teachers at the Social National Insurance Fund. These schools don't do that because they are nowhere to be found. These are the schools that cannot be controlled by government because government don't know them. So I think they should make sure that these schools are swept off completely, and the remaining ones that are there, the government should make sure that they follow them up properly and make sure that the workers are being paid well, and not only schools. I think Cameroonian labor force, the Cameroonian workers, the government should make them to live a decent life, because
the government should make them to live a decent
yes, by pounding on the employers.
Okay. Good evening to you all. My best school is GHS Kamalikum Kumba. Cliffordo is writing from Kumba. This one say, hello guys, good evening. My best school is GBHS Tolon Oku. I'm Emao the Foreigner. Good evening, greetings to you all guys in the studio. My best school is GHS Motombolombo because they have the best teachers. It's better, writing from Tico. Mr. Taji, is there a temptation for teachers to engage in activities like mark selling, trying to do some funny things because they're not well paid?
Probably. I will not tell you no or yes.
But have you heard of cases?
Situation of teachers can push some of them to engage into such malpractices, because I believe that the teacher who teaches in a very decadent situation will not give out what he has in him. Because we always say in pedagogy that a good teacher can teach without preparing his notes. But a good lesson can never be taught without preparation. Meaning that, for instance, a teacher who earns 40,000 francs monthly and has to take a taxi to go at his job site, you will see that at the end of the month, the 40,000 francs cannot excel through. And given the situation that the teacher has a family to cater for and will have to go towards his employee or employer's place to ask for aid or loan, in a situation where this employer does not help this teacher and the teacher finds himself in the classroom, are you sure, Lionel, you can deliver what you have to deliver? You find yourself mingling with parents, because a parent will come and tell you that my child has a sight problem. Please place my child in front so that the child can read on the chalkboard. You have no choice. And when this parent says like this and corners you with the 500 francs, you find yourself concentrating on that child, because you know that the next day the parent might come again and give you a 500 francs. That's why I want to tell you that it's possible for these teachers, because their situation is a decadent one. It's very appalling. It's not good. We have to decry this situation, because look at you. You are a journalist and you want to help expose the social malpractices, the societal ills. You want to help expose them, let the public know what is happening, especially with the private teachers. Okay, for instance, your employer is unable to cater for you. He needs you at your job site early at 6 a.m. You are there, and you go back. Look at us. You are seated here. You have a family to cater for. And if this condition is not favorable for you, Lionel, I think you will not do the best that you have. So it's possible for teachers to engage into malpractices because of their poor situation and conditions.
I'll be pushed to want to collect gumbo from everybody who comes around.
A girl can go during school hours to see her boyfriend, because maybe the discipline master is being given 10,000 francs, because his salary is very low. He will receive the 10,000 francs and let the girl go and do whatsoever she wants to go and do. Before you notice it, the girl comes back home with a pregnancy, and there's the fault of the proprietor, not the teacher.
Okay, it's the fault of the proprietor. Good evening. My best school is GTHS Santa Sylvester, writing from Douala. Good evening. I think private schools are moderate in G. He's writing from Bomenda. How do we understand the precarious conditions of teachers working in a town like Douala? Let's take the case of Boya, Bomenda, when we know that in the same town, Boya or Douala or Bomenda, we have the regional delegation of secondary and basic education, who supposedly are working to supervise, seeing to it that the schools are in good shape. We have the divisional delegations. In Douala, we talk of Vuri, And then in Douala 1, we have the subdivisional delegations who supposedly are supposed to look at those minute issues. We have the regional delegations of labor who supposedly are supposed to. What is happening that all of these institutions are existing, yet the conditions of the teachers are not looked into? How can we explain that?
One of the panelists said there are laws in Cameroon, but there is nobody to supervise them.
Somebody wrote a televiewer, send that.
Okay. That's exactly what is happening. Those who are in the delegations, working in the delegation, should be the ones to follow up very well. They should not just put laws on papers.
So why are they not following up?
Sometimes because of the malpractice happening in Cameroon, the proprietors will do an envelope and give it to them. So at that level, it ends there, at the level of the office of the proprietor. They will not go further to check what is happening. So what do you expect?
Do you think that's what is happening?
Exactly, that's what is happening. It is a problem of corruption. And that problem of corruption...
Please, don't call. We cannot take a call. Just send your text message. We'll read them out.
Good. As I was saying, the main problem here is corruption. And normally, corruption shouldn't have been existing in the educational domain. It is a very sensitive domain. But corruption is killing, is behind all what we have been discussing this evening. Yes, so most proprietors give envelopes to inspectorates. As you said, we have a regional level, we have a divisional level, we even have a subdivisional level. And this subdivisional level is easier for them to know the number of schools in their subdivision and have access to these schools. But most often we see that once they go to these schools, they just end in proprietor's office. They collect their envelopes and they go back. So this problem of corruption is the main issue, is the main problem. Which is because, for instance, proprietors who were supposed to put the teachers in CNPS, when they don't put the teachers in CNPS, that is, the CNPS is just around. Yes, it's just around. And under normal circumstances, CNPS, they should make certain control in schools. But they don't make controls. Once they call proprietors that we are coming to your school to make control, proprietor will rush to him and give an envelope and it will end there. Okay. And most often, people coming from the ministry, they come from the ministry on a mission for a particular school. Once they come to the school, once they come in the town, they stop in the hotel room and the proprietor will come with the envelope. But and more to that, I would like to please.
But these are allegations, sir.
Yes.
There's no way you can prove what you're saying.
Yeah, but that is what is happening.
That's what you believe.
Yes, I know that is what is happening.
Leonard, I would like
were you sent with an envelope?
Not actually, but I saw one or two times.
But somebody cannot be sent from Yaoundé to come and to investigate in the school, and you're in between Yaoundé and the school, because if the same practices are made, it means that those people who are sent never reach the destination.
Yes. I would like to add to what my colleagues are saying, that actually, as you rightly said, there are organs put in place by the government to cater for these schools. But you will see that these organs that we just mentioned, like the regional delegation, the inspectorate, etc., for them who are in like Douala, Boya, for example, for them to get to their position, they need to negotiate. And once these positions are being negotiated, not even by merit, you find them fighting to come to urban areas because they know that it's a golden mine which is uncontrolled. So when they find themselves in this urban area, the proprietors or the promoters of private schools become their clients, their best clients, because they know that they will feed on them, might be to make up the negotiation that they had taken to be into their various positions. So it's one of the things that is making them not to carry out their function as supposed to be done.
Okay. Good evening to you all. My best school is Progressive Comprehensive High School, Bomenda. Good evening to you all. My best school is Maison Doula in Yaoundé. I'm Elvis Tiku Felix. Good evening. It's evident some chiefs try to take advantage of the presence of certain personalities like Ni John Frundi to try and expose themselves, even if it's as foolish as the present case. Tiku Felix is writing, I'm sure, from Sandpit in Boya. Good evening to you and the family. My name is Tabi Glory. There shouldn't be tribalism in school. At my best school is Charles de Gaulle, Lokpom Douala. It is filled with experienced teachers and the institution is well secured, all thanks to my brave principal, Pa Ojong. Wow, thank you. Good evening. My best school is Kas Kumba. This one says, my best school is Kas Kumba again. This one says, hello guys, evening. My best school is GBHS Tolon. Cool, I'm sure I've taken that one already. My best school is First Technical and Commercial High School, Moyuka. The teachers there are very dedicated. I enjoy your contribution. From Mesumbe, Jonas, good evening, Leo, and to everyone in the house. It's true, the working situation of teachers is poor and need to be looked into, but I wish to add that the teaching corps is a calling. As such, anyone venturing into it should bear in mind that a teacher can never be paid for his work, for his or her work. As the teacher makes the sacrifice, he or she should receive a deserving reward as well. And to teachers, let your learners not be victims of issues between you and the proprietor. Do well to remember your lessons in pedagogy. Thanks. It's Nga Oliver Kum writing from Boya. Good evening, Oliver. Good evening to you all in the studio. My best school is St. John Kumba. Thanks. This is Venom Wayne Cruz writing. Many people have raised the issue of quacks and charlatans. Is there need to check those who are considered teachers? Because seemingly everybody gets up today or tomorrow because they have nothing doing. They can get a chalk, and because they can talk, they start teaching.
You see, our educational system makes it in such a way that everybody is a genius, but put in the same basket. Meaning, people are not sent to the specialties where they were supposed to, they are good at. Because when you are teaching a child, teachers here can know better. The child is growing up, you know that this child can be a good scientist in the future. He can be a lawyer. I think those orientations, what would you like to be? They let the child choose what he or she feels she is good at. A child cannot cannot go to school, maybe be a footballer or choose something else in life. But our educational system forces people that you must do by this, you must do by that, because there are some state universities. They put conditions, even they say that if you have 10 points, you study this, you have 9 points, you study this, you have this. And now people find themselves in very funny conditions at the end of the day. Somebody who would have loved maybe to study law is pushed to study political science.
We are talking about the teaching.
I am coming there because when you talk about quacks, you must go down, right down there, because it is from there that it starts. Now, when somebody who wanted to be a teacher in life and has no means to enter into École Normale Supérieure, what do they call it? ENS. To be trained as a teacher, because he could not succeed in the concours. And he found himself studying political science. He never wanted to be a politician in life. And tomorrow now he feels as to teach. And he now takes a political science degree to go and teach maybe history, whatsoever, in school. Automatically he's a quack, because he knows nothing in that field. So if we will have to select that, we should adjust our educational system.
Okay, we should adjust our educational system. Good evening, my best school is GBHS School. Salah Kumba is Penovet writing Shaw from K-Town. I'm Bernadette writing from Bomenda. My best school is CPC. Bali, thanks. Okay. Good evening, I'm called Jeanette. My best school is Martin Luther from which town? Kumba. Good evening, I'm Khaled Jeanette. Okay, Martin Luther, she says Kumba. Good evening. Mr. Leo, please, I would like the private school teachers to try and be smart, knowing the situation. Too much complaining won't help. Take on private teaching beside teaching in private schools. If actually you're a professional and good with your job, you won't lack students to teach privately. Leo, teachers have a lot of space to use, but are somehow lazy. My brother with the brown dress should know that all what he's saying as negative are acts carried by teachers, by them professionals or not. Government teachers, private and unprofessional teachers are involved in the same crimes. It is an individualistic issue. Now, there is an issue where people describe proprietors as business people with very little experience in the art of teaching. That is, they are not experts in the domain. They get into teaching, they get into the school arena just to make profits. And more teachers are grouping themselves to create schools. Most private schools are created by a group of teachers. Is there a difference with them, the way they treat teachers?
Yes. You know, when you see a school where the proprietor is a teacher, and a school where a proprietor is in another business, you know, the two schools are differently managed. You know, when the teacher is at the head of a school, just for the fact that he has been, just for the fact that he's a teacher, he knows what to do because he has passed through he has passed through those steps. He has been a teacher, he has taught, and even as a proprietor, he is still teaching. He knows exactly what to do and the various period. If you give him, that is a pedagogic program, he can analyze it. He knows what the students ought to have, and for that, he knows what to do in relationship to the students, as compared to a proprietor who is simply in the business for money making. It is different. This one is out to make profit. He's out to make money. And when you see the school fees, you see that most of these schools where the proprietors are businessmen, the school fees, you see several details. You see TD, which is 10,000 francs. You see APE, which is 5,000 francs. You see registration, which is 30,000 francs. You see several things in the school fees. And even when all this money is paid, what will he do with this money? Most of these proprietors, after 2 or 3 months of school, you see them with a very big car. Because they don't have the same vision, they don't have the same objective with another proprietor, who is a teacher.
Okay. I want to say good evening, dear panelists. I'm enjoying the program, mostly the facts given by Mr. Tamfu. My best school are the mission schools because they are very performant. I'm watching from Mile 16, that is in Bolifamba. Good evening, sirs. It's Linda Yoru. I'm writing from Tiko Douala Road. My best school is Our Lady of Lords, Bomenda. Good evening to you guys. My best school is in Sets in Douala, and there is no quality school in Cameroon, being its primary, secondary, or higher level. Jessica Luis, writing from Douala. Good evening to everyone in the studio. My best school is GHS Isu. Mebu Joseph Sin, writing from Boya, that is the Prince of Isu. Good evening. Okay, see, unemployment is an economic evil, yet it has its merits discourse. If this question is answered, then you will realize that the teachers are never their own enemy, but the government is a facilitator for graduating teachers every year without recruiting them, making them overcrowding in the society, having nothing to do. Please stop calling. We can't take any call. Crowding the society, having nothing to do, thus leaving them with no choice than teaching for low pay packages. Owendike Abel is writing, good evening, I'm Michael from Douala. The best school, as for me, is GBHS, Cheni Militaire, Douala Bassa. Okay, stop calling, please. We cannot take a call. Good evening to you guys. My best school is GTHS, Ombe. Ken Boris writing from Yaoundé. Good evening, my best school is GBHS Kumbu. Is Shitila Liberius from Yaoundé. Teachers there are good and well teaching techniques. I don't know whether they're not listening. Greetings to the entire panel. Nathaniel from K-Town. The rate of private teachers' exploitation is becoming so rampant. The government should see into this sooner or later so that they might also live a better life. My best school is CCHS Kumba because of their best cream of teachers. Do you also think that the business of education should be allowed in the hands of teachers?
Yeah.
That's the creation of schools, the running of schools should be left in the hands of those who master the domain.
Certainly, not only teachers, but educationists. Because somebody who is educated will run a school far more better than a business person. Just look, for instance, the recent question about quack teachers. I have come to a situation where the promoter of a school prefers to pick teachers in the street because he does not want those who are educated who will come and start giving him headache or asking for fabulous salaries or pay packages. He would prefer to go to those low ones that we term them quacks. Quacks might be because they never gone through the training or their educational profile does not permit them to find themselves in the classroom. They will go to them because they want things to go in. So I am telling you here that the government, to my own advice, is preferable to grant authorization to educationists, to teachers, if better, because they know it is their field and they master it very much and they can do more better in that field.
Okay, what should the government do to get proprietors to treat their teachers better?
The government should try to do constant follow-up to the proprietors and make sure that they are working according to the laws the government have put in place to help the teachers survive.
Okay, Mr. Tamfu, the proprietors are making huge sums from the monies paid by by teachers. How do we get the proprietors' share in this profits, huge profits, with the teachers?
They are making huge sum of money from the monies that from huge sum of
Yes,
profit.
yes.
But they sucking the teachers dry.
Yes.
Now, what I will say is that the government should follow up and make sure that they should not only come, the inspector should not only come and hold meetings with the proprietors or hold meetings with the teachers in front of the proprietors. They should meet the teachers privately. They can make a sondage and then maybe send the people who will meet the teacher privately and ask them about how they are treated behind the doors. I think the teachers will say it, and they should also not expose the teachers after the revelations. They should now work on the revelation and know how to treat the proprietors. I think like that they will become responsible.
I would like to add something to that, because some of those inspectors too, they come, they end up in the office of the proprietor. Once they give their envelopes, they start asking for a job. Is there no space for me to send this person to come and work here? Okay. So that situation is bad. Yes, they become an accomplice with the proprietors of schools.
Okay, yeah. What should be done to better the relationship between the teachers and the proprietors?
I think the government has that sole responsibility to eradicate corruption and to better follow up that relationship, better follow up by putting in place certain mechanisms, yes, which can be justified. Not that proprietors fill a number of teachers, proprietors fill their salaries. Did they receive their salaries annually? Proprietors say yes, and they submit at a delegation, and the delegation takes and transfers to Yaoundé, and that is all. The government should put in place, that is a mechanism that can permit to come at the level of the field to verify. This teacher, you said you paid him, that is a report, an annual report done by the proprietor, annually given to the ministry. Okay. You said you paid this particular teacher for 12 months. Okay, where is the teacher's signature? Where is the teacher's phone number? Those informations are usually lacking.
Amgule Emmanuel, chemistry author. My best school is Seka Baptist Limbe. When proprietors treat teachers well, their output will improve. Okay. Good evening. I'm Michael Fota. My best school is GHS at Tiala. That should be Momenda. Good evening to you all. My best school is Lorient Bilingual in Betwa. Belinda is writing from Boya. Good evening, learned panelists at the studio. My best school is CAS Bambili because of its competent teacher, Joseph Su from Yaoundé. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Let the teachers pay the price. They are the people who put us in this crisis. Mr. William is writing from Kumba. Hello, good evening all. My best school is BGS Moliko. Boya, good evening, is Jovita. It's writing, my best school is CAS Kumba. Good evening to you, Jovita. Good evening to you all. My best school are GSS Tenichung and GBHS Mbengui by Randolph and Nyambili. Okay, this one says, my best school is Government High School Motombolombo. Since 2016 to date, she has survived the crisis by appealing to parents and children discipline, and results are top. The school rescued children from private and government schools and troubled areas. Kowak Bandolo is writing from Tiko. Isape Ayompe from Bonakama Kumba. My best school is Vukas Moyuka for everything. Okay, good evening to you guys. My best school is GBHS Tombel. Mr. Ndechua is a big disciplinarian there. Okay. Good evening to you all. I'm Tambe Elvis. My best school is CAS Kumba. This is because the government schools have trained teachers who pour in the stuff and they are efficient and effective. Writing from Danny Cash Kumba. Okay. Good evening. My name is Guyo Mabel. My best school is CAS Kumba. Okay, many votes for CAS Kumba this evening. Good evening. My best school is GHS Bojongo. In those days of Mr. Macaulay, Joseph and Polycarp, teachers were so committed. Hannah Jenny, writing from Limbe, the city of friendship. Good evening. My best school is PCHS Mancon and Bandos from Bomenda. Good evening. My name is Buru Kol. My best school is PHS Batibo. Good evening to you all. My best school is GHS Ekona. It's Mudika, writing from Boya. Good evening to you all. My best school is GHS Ekona. Okay. My best school is GBHS Downtown Bamenda. This is Gael, writing from Bamenda. Okay. Good evening to you people. My best school is GTHS Moliko Boya Eric from K. To me, teachers should be the highest paid people. Okay. Hello, my best school is GHS ISU. The teachers are very welcoming and try their very best to see that students get their goals. I'm Genevieve Ndum, writing from Limbe. Good evening to the panelists. My name is Otang Lionel. I'm enjoying the program. The whole system is corrupt. The government needs to ensure strict control. My best school is Nabiko Bonaberi. Good evening. My best school is St. Francis Kumba. Good evening. Leave the government. Is tired. Everything government. Let's fight our future. This one says, mine is GHS Womb. Okay. Good evening. My best school is Horizon Bilingual College, Douala. We are out of time. We have to stop here. Thank you, Mr. Willie, for coming.
Yes, I'm very grateful. Thank you also, and I hope our televiewers were satisfied.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Tamfu, for coming.
It's always my pleasure.
I'm grateful you were part of the show this evening.
Thank you, Leonard. It's a pleasure.
Mr. Taji, thank you.
Thank you very much, and my televiewers, thank you for participating to this evening program, and hope to catch you next time.
Thank you to you, Tebek Fundu Inashas, who was equally part of the panel this evening. We want to say thank you to the technical team, to you, Desmond, to you, Eli, Frank, the two Desmonds. I say thank you to you, Jerry, and to you, Tabi Tambe. Brian, we're supervising all we are doing out here. We say thank you. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.